Hey guys, Joe from American Trucks, and today we're going to be working with the UnderCover UltraFlex Tri-Fold tonneau cover in black textured, fitting all 19 and newer short and standard box Silverado 1500s. Now this tonneau cover is going to be a great option for frankly any Silverado owner out there looking to protect their stuff from not only the elements but would-be thieves as well with a high quality hard fold tonneau cover. These panels are all aluminum. That's great, it's durable yet lightweight. They have that awesome black textured finish, which is not only going to add to the looks, but serve as a layer of protection from the elements as well. And as you can see, the design is nice and low profile, which is going to allow you to maintain the looks on your brand new Silverado. Now, some nice touches that come with this tonneau cover. It's carpeted on the inside. That's going to give you a nice material to work with in the back of your truck. It's also going to help with a little bit of sound deadening. This one also comes with an included LED light, which also comes with batteries included for it to provide you a nice source of light if you have to work in the back of your truck in darkness. Now, of course, with tonneau covers, this one is also going to be weather tight. You got rubber seals around each side, and it also has a built-in drainage system, which is going to provide you another layer of protection. This comes with some tubes that basically route the water underneath of the bed of your truck. So nice touches and a good design from UnderCover. So there are a couple things that are inherent to a hard tri-fold tonneau cover that I really like, and this definitely falls in the case for the UnderCover here. And those features are going to include, first off and foremost, security. These hard panels are going to be a lot tougher to get into than a regular old vinyl tonneau cover that would cost you a couple $100. You're gonna need some serious tools to get through this. Once this tailgate is shut, there's no way to release those panels or get this thing off your truck. So if you plan on carrying anything of value in the bed of your truck frequently, this is going to be a great option for you. On top of that, this nice low profile design you get from the hard folds here, that's going to help clean up some of the turbulent air coming over the cab of your truck. You might see a small increase in fuel economy as well, which that isn't going to be the #1 reason to buy this thing, but the fuel economy is definitely something to think about. Lastly, another great feature is just how quickly you can get this thing rolled up and down. A lot of the times those couple $100 vinyl tonneau covers out there shrink when it gets cold outside, and they're usually held on with button snaps or zippers, something along those lines. And that can be really hard to do up in cold weather when you really want them to go together easily. This isn't going to be a problem for aluminum panels, obviously. We're gonna show you in just a second here just how easy this is to roll up. You just pull in a couple cords and this thing basically completely collapses on itself. So that's, again, something to think about if you plan on putting this to use on a daily basis for your truck. So pricing is going to vary based on bed size, but for the short box version, we're looking at around $1,000, and I really do think you're getting a lot for your money there. This is going to be a lifetime tonneau cover for your truck. It's secure, high quality, it's made right here in the USA, and even backed with a 5-year limited warranty. Now, as far as the install goes, you could probably guess this is going to be pretty easy. No modifications to get this installed on your truck, and very basic hand tools to do the whole job. I'm gonna give it a 1 out of 3 wrenches on our difficulty meter. Should take you 15 minutes to a half an hour to get this completely done up. So without any further ado, let me show you what tools you'll need and how it's done. Tools required for this install are going to be an impact or ratchet, 13mm socket, a knife to trim up some weather stripping, trim panel removal tool, and a Phillips head screwdriver. So the first step to our install here, we're gonna take this adhesive back seal here, and we're just going to apply this along the bulkhead right below the rear window on our truck. This is going to be a little bit long, so I'm gonna use the knife to trim it to size. So next up, we're going to mount up our side rails here. You wanna make sure you have the right side here. This strut should be biased toward the cab, and this little water drainage hole at the front should also be up by the window here. Now, once we have the right rail, we're just gonna bring this down and line it up so it's nice and flat with the side rail of the bed there. And then we're just gonna tighten it down with these clamps included in the kit. They have a 13mm bolt on them. So now we're gonna do the same thing for the middle. We're just gonna pull this strut out first to be able to get to that clamping position. Then we're gonna put this in place like so. You want this tooth portion to be on the bed of the truck and this little lip right here to catch where the clamp spacers are marked. So before we install our last clamp, we're actually going to slide in our included LED light here. You can see this has a power button right there, lights up just like so, and it's actually slotted on the rear, and this is going to slide right in this channel here. This little foot on the Phillips head screw is going to lock that in place once we slide that on. But first we're gonna start by removing this spacer right here, and that should just pop right out like so. And then we're gonna come down here to the end of the rail, and we're just going to pop off this cover a little bit, like that. And that should open up this channel here and allow us to slide in our light. And I just want to slide that down enough to make sure we can get it past where we need the clamp. And then once you have that in position, you can take that Phillips head screwdriver and lock that down. Now we're just going to reinstall that end of the side rail cover and this clamp spacer right here. And finally, we can lock that down with a clamp, and just like the other two, I'm gonna tighten this down with a 13mm socket. Now we're just gonna grab the other side rail here, and again, this little water drainage channel should be up by the cab. Same thing goes for this strut here, and we're just gonna put that in place on our bed rail and lock it down with the 3 clamps. Before we install the middle position, we are going to need to remove this strut first, and I'm just gonna put that aside, and then get the clamp in place. Now we're gonna come down to the rear and tighten that down as well. Now, one more thing we have to install before we drop our tonneau cover on. These drainage tubes here are just gonna help make sure that no water is going to get into the bed of your truck, and they just slip over these fittings at the beginning of the side rails. And you're gonna actually run these right out of the bed. I'm just gonna pry off this cover right here, and that gives us a convenient spot to feed that tube down and into, and that's gonna drain the water underneath the bed of the truck. And we're gonna do the same thing on the other side. Now, once you have these side rails completely installed, you could go ahead and take the tonneau cover itself, and we're just gonna put that up and in the rails. A couple of things to make sure of before you put that up there. This thing is pretty heavy. I recommend you grab a friend, and obviously we already did this off camera, so this is exactly where you want it to be. And you want this littlest panel right here to be up by the rear glass. What we're going to do next is come on the back side of that smallest panel. We're going to insert some of the clamps into the channels, so we can lock this down to the side rails. So what we're gonna do is take one of these gray clamps here, and we're just gonna loosen that up so we got a little bit of give on the bolt in the middle. And all we're going to do is get it started in this one channel right here on that smallest panel. And that's perfect. We're gonna do the same thing for the other side. Then we're gonna flip this down and tighten that down. So now that we're on the underside here, all I'm gonna do is slide that clamp over, and you wanna make sure that that little tooth right there is biting on this outermost lip, like that, and then we can tighten down that thumb screw. And we're gonna come over and do the same exact thing on the other side. So we're gonna start with the tonneau cover in the completely rolled up position here. first thing we're going to do, obviously, is disconnect our prop rods. There's a little red switch on there, and that will loosen them up. Once you have those taken off, I'm just gonna click it into this latch right here, and that's gonna hold it still and keep it right there. While we're over here, we also need to disconnect a buckle, which you're not gonna be able to see, but it's back behind the tonneau cover right now. Then we're gonna go over and do the same thing for the other side. Now we can start to roll out the tonneau cover, and each panel should click into place. You can see the teeth right here. That is what's going to catch the side rail. Now we're just gonna roll out the rest of the panels here. And while we're doing this, actually you're supposed to click in these buckles as well. So I'm just gonna do that right now. And then we're just gonna click the panels in place just like that. So now we're gonna roll this thing back up, and it's gonna be just as easy. We're just gonna start by dropping the tailgate. And with that down, you'll now see these cords. This is going to release each section. So we're gonna pull down on that and fold this up. Now again, once we get to this point, I'm just going to release these buckles because we are gonna clip them back in. Then this last panel, again, just pull down on the cord to release and fold that up as well. At this point, I'm just gonna grab a strut and flick that red switch over to insert that onto the ball, and that's gonna lock the tonneau cover in place just like that. Now we need to put that buckle back together, and now I'm gonna go over to the other side and do the same thing. But that's gonna do it for my review and install of the UnderCover UltraFlex Tri-Fold Tonneau Cover in black textured, fitting all 19 and newer short and standard box Silverado 1500s. Thank you for watching. I'm Joe. For more videos like this, make sure you subscribe to American Trucks.